Marcus once looked out from a penthouse suite, watching the city move below him like a king watching his subjects. He was a billionaire, a visionary, and a man who believed his legacy was untouchable. But the higher you climb, the harder you fall, and Marcus's fall was orchestrated by the one person he trusted most, his business partner, Arthur. In a calculated strike of greed, Arthur forged Marcus's signature, wiped his accounts clean, and framed him for a crime that turned every one of his allies into enemies. Within a day, Marcus was stripped of his title, his home, and his dignity. He found himself sitting on a park bench, his expensive leather shoes soaked through by the rain. He looked at his reflection in a muddy puddle and didn't recognize the man staring back. He was a billionaire who couldn't afford a cup of coffee. Desperate and broken, he whispered into the wind, "God, I was honest. I served you. Why have you let the wicked steal my life?" Days of cold and hunger followed. Marcus became a shadow in the streets, ignored by the very people who once begged for his time. On his third day of homelessness, a young girl with a simple dress and a bright smile stopped in front of him. She held out a small glass jar, caked in dirt and filled with 10 gray river stones. She told him her mother said the stones were heavy, but the light inside was heavier. She said he would know what to do when the time was right. Marcus felt insulted. He wanted a sign from God, a check in the mail, or a lawyer to call him, not a jar of pebbles. He nearly threw the jar into a bin, but a strange sense of peace stayed his hand. He kept the jar in his bag and sought shelter in a crowded basement with dozens of other men who had lost their way. That night, Marcus watched a small, static-filled television in the corner of the room. Arthur was on the screen, laughing and announcing a merger that would make him the most powerful man in the country. Marcus felt a surge of rage. He reached for the jar, intending to smash it against the concrete floor. But as he gripped the glass, the room fell into a sudden, heavy silence. A soft blue glow began to pulse from the bottom of the jar. Marcus hurried into the alleyway behind the shelter. He took a heavy brick and struck the glowing stone. It didn't shatter into dust. It cracked open like an ancient egg, revealing a black diamond micro drive, a piece of ultra-secure technology. Wrapped around the drive was a waterproof note in Marcus's own handwriting from 5 years ago. He realized in a heartbeat that this was the lost backup drive from his company's founding day, the only evidence in existence that proved Arthur had no legal right to the firm. But how did a child in a park have the key to his restoration? Marcus didn't waste a second. He reached out to a contact in federal intelligence. Before the sun rose, the quiet alley was flooded with the light of black SUVs. The FBI and the police arrived not to arrest a vagrant, but to protect a man who held the most dangerous evidence in the city. With the agents was the little girl's mother. She was the widow of Marcus's former head of security, a man who had died years ago protecting Marcus's secrets. He had told his daughter to wait until she saw Marcus at his absolute lowest, knowing that the man who had everything might not value a jar of rocks, but the man who had nothing would see the miracle inside. By the next afternoon, Arthur was led out of his office in handcuffs. The merger was halted, and Marcus's empire was returned to him. But the man who stepped back into that penthouse wasn't the same man who had left it. He didn't return to his life of luxury alone. He turned his former mansion into a sanctuary for the homeless and used his wealth to fight for those who had been betrayed by the system. Marcus realized that God hadn't allowed him to fall to punish him. He allowed him to fall so he could find the truth that was hidden in the dirt. He learned that when your hands are empty, you are finally in a position to receive the things that truly matter. Moral: never judge your situation by the stones in your hand. God often hides your greatest victory in the things you are tempted to throw away. If you are going through a season of betrayal, keep your heart clean and your faith strong, because the light inside your struggle is heavier than the weight of your pain. If you believe that God is working behind the scenes of your life right now, type Amen and subscribe to help us reach our 2,000 subscriber goal.